Good evening, everybody. Back for another installment of the Fool's Interpretation of the Havamal. And in this segment, we're going to be going over stanzas 18, 19, 20, and 21. So without any further ado, let's get into it. 18. Only a man who is wide-traveled and has wandered far can know something about how other men think. Such a man is wise. Now, last night I was trying to make a video about this after I got home from work, and I was having the hardest time trying to talk about this stanza because I kept trying to come up with a situation that happened in my own life or something I could think of that might be relevant to this stanza, but I was having a really hard time trying to articulate anything that came to mind, and just no matter how hard I tried, every time I'd start recording, I'd be talking for a few minutes and I would just be unhappy with how it was going. So I'd stop and start again and start again. And eventually I was like, forget this. I'm just going to take a shower, go to bed, and think about it the next day at work. And then today at work, while I'm thinking about, how can I talk about these stanzas and stuff, um, and then it hit me. So this stanza right here, 18, it reminds me a lot of, these people. These people have never been to where they're talking about, and they're the viewpoints of the views on the world of the queer community come in direct conflict with the views of people of the community in Palestine. And to go over that, we're going to go to my good friend ChatGPT, because I'm just a nobody. So who I interview is ChatGPT until I have somebody real to interview. And so I ask it, is gay marriage legal in Palestine? And it says, in Palestine, gay marriage is not legal. The situation for LGBTQ plus individuals varies between the West Bank and Gaza. In the West Bank, same-sex sexual activity between men was decriminalized in 1951, whereas in Gaza it remains illegal under the British colonial-era criminal code. Regardless, Palestinian society is generally conservative, and LGBTQ plus individuals often face widespread discrimination, violence, and lack of legal protection. So I said, who governs the West Bank? It says the West Bank is governed by the Palestinian Authority, which was established as part of the Oslo Accords in the 1990s. The PA, Palestinian Authority, has administrative and security control over certain areas of the West Bank, known as Areas A and B. Area A is under full Palestinian civil and security control, where Area B is under Palestinian civil control and joint Israeli-Palestinian security control. Israel retains full control over Area C, which includes Israeli settlements, military zones, and the majority of the land area of the West Bank. The government's structure in the West Bank is complex and involves coordination and conflict between the PA and the Israeli government. So I said, which zone is gay marriage legal in? And it replied, in the Palestinian territories, the legality of gay marriage varies significantly between regions. In Gaza, male homosexuality is explicitly illegal. In the West Bank, while not explicitly illegal, the societal norms are highly conservative, and there are no legal protections for LGBTQ plus individuals, making it extremely challenging for LGBTQ plus people to live openly. Conversely, in Israel, same-sex marriage is recognized if performed abroad, though it is not performed within the country itself. This legal recognition applies to areas under full Israeli control, which can include parts of the West Bank where Israeli citizens reside. However, the overall situation for LGBTQ plus individuals in the region remains complex and challenging due to the varying degrees of legal recognition and societal acceptance. So it sounds like the only places that allow gay marriage is Area C, that's controlled by Israel. And as long as you get married before you go to Israel, if you and you go there afterwards, they will recognize your marriage status, whereas Palestine will not. So, and it's illegal, and so I'm sure you get jailed or something like that too. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. You can do that yourself. The point is, these people are not wide traveled, and if they were wide traveled, they would not be saying queers for Palestine. They would be saying queers for the people that allow queer people to exist, which is, in this situation, Israel. Now, I don't want to get into the whole thing of Israel and Palestine. I'm not Israeli, nor am I Palestinian, so I don't care what they do. I'm an American, so I care what America does. But when it comes to stanza 18, this reminds me of people protesting about other countries doing things that have nothing to do with us, and their own views about the world conflict with the people they're trying to protest for, and they just make themselves look like a bunch of fools. 19. Don't hold on to the mead horn, but drink your fair share. Say something useful or stay quiet, and no one else will judge you poorly if you go to sleep early. I don't think there's a lot to dig into with this one. This one, it just reminds me about sound advice on drinking. And it's not telling you to be abstinent from drinking. It's not saying don't ever drink. I mean, it's like people like to hang out and party, and people like to have a feast, and they like Christmas parties and Thanksgiving parties and 4th of July barbecues, and they like going to a Halloween costume party, and there's always alcohol involved in all of these things. Like, alcohol is just a kind of it's a staple of human interaction. Wherever there's going to be a big giant group of people doing celebrating or not celebrating, maybe they're grieving for some reason. Wherever there's a group of people, there's going to be alcohol. And a lot of times it's really weird, because over the years I've taken like breaks from drinking where I don't drink at all for a very long time, like multiple years. And when somebody offers you a drink, like, you go to any kind of event, Jesus, even when my daughter was in a Catholic school and we go to like a Catholic school fundraising event of some kind, and they have like a bar set up, and people offer you a drink, and when you say no, they think something's weird. Uh, they seriously look at you like, almost like they can't trust you. Like, why aren't you drinking? What's the matter with you? There's some kind of baggage that you've got that made you make the decision to not drink. Then even of course, you just come back and be like, "Well, bro, I'm driving. Like, I'm just not trying to drink." But then it's like, how do you think everybody else is getting home? Everybody else is driving to get home. Well, of course, some people might have a cab set up or some kind of stupid Uber thing, or maybe their boyfriend or girlfriend or husband or wife is driving them, or they got a friend coming to pick them up later. But invariably, invariably, some people are going to be driving home that night after doing some drinking. And whenever you tell these people that you don't want to drink, for whatever reason, they give you this weird look like something's off. And so I think this stanza kind of reminds me of, yeah, like take the drink, take a couple of drinks, but don't drink the whole pitcher of beer like Jesus. Just have a drink in your hand like a normal person and hang out. And if you're going to, you got stuff to do the next day, so you go home so you can get some sleep. Nobody's gonna be talking. Nobody's gonna be talking bad about you. Like Jim's got to go home. He's got stuff to do in the morning. I'm like, oh yeah, Jim's a pussy. that's the worst that'll happen. But yeah, I don't think there's a lot to dig into with stanza 19. It's just, um, you know, hang out and drink, but don't drink too much. 20 and 19, or I mean 20 and 21, they seem to go together. So I'm just going to read both of them and then talk about both of them as one. So, a gluttonous man, unless he watches himself, will eat to his own detriment. Wise men will often ridicule a fool on account of his belly. Even cows know when they should go home and leave behind the fields. But an unwise man does not know the measure of his own appetite. When I read these stanzas, it makes me think about people like this. Like, fat, happy, and healed. A movement, blah, 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 about finding the fat acceptance movement, blah, blah, blah. Health is self-love, and you should be able to love yourself. But, and like this message right here, health is self-love, I feel like that is a contorted view of what's actually trying to be said. You should be able to love yourself and accept yourself. But that's talking about the things that you can't change. If you've got a bunch of freckles and kids are making you, like growing up, you're getting made fun of being called freckleitis. That happened to me in middle school and stuff. Once the sun comes out and gives me a little kiss on the cheek, I got freckles out the yin yang. And, everybody makes stupid comments about it. And at first it bothered me until I realized there was nothing I could do about it. Like, so I didn't care. Like, there's nothing I can do about getting a bunch of freckles. And if there's a couple of douchebags at school that want to call you some frecklezoid, then they're the asshole. You should be able to love yourself and accept the things about you that you can't change. Now, when it comes to your weight, you can change your weight, like through the food that you eat. Like, I don't even need to go on this. Like diet and exercise. Like, I mean, the only thing you're going to be getting with living like these people is heart disease, diabetes, and dying at an earlier age than you should. This isn't healthy. This isn't healthy at all. And like this part where it's talking about like even a cow knows the correct time to go home. Like, like a cow's. These people are like hopped up on the good feeling of attention and stuff that they are getting from going overboard their with their eating habits and their accepting of being at any weight. Because the cow knows to go home. Like the cow goes home because he's eaten, and so now he's full. So there's no more reason to eat, and so he goes home. But uh, these people, they eat, and then they make a video, or they do some photo shoot where they're showing how beautiful they think their overweight body is, and then when somebody gives them a bit of uh, good attention for it, that's what they are now addicted to. So then they go and they eat some more. And that's what I'm reminded of when I read stanzas 20 and 21. I feel like the people that are doing this would be the gluttonous man that stanza 20 is talking about. And I think that they're also the person that's being talked about in stanza 21 when it's comparing somebody to a cow. You know, the cow knows to go home after it's done eating, yet there are people in the world that eat themselves into their own detriment. Well, I hope you guys had a good night. I hope you get some good rest, and I hope you have a good day tomorrow at work. I'll talk to you guys later.